Back once again, another episode of Beat the Bookie podcast, episode 13. I am at Alan Statsational, host of the show, but I'm here with the star of the show, John Alesia, a.k.a. Statsational. How are you, my friend?
I am doing well, man. A little ragged, a little running around, but doing well.
You look well, though. You look well.
Well, I just showered, so yeah.
Okay, all right. I thought I smelled something.
Yes.
But last night, today we're recording this on Monday night, February 24th, and I was following along a little bit. You had quite the sweat going, and it ended, it depends on which way you look at it. I think it ended well, but I can certainly understand why you would say the opposite. Why don't you tell the story real quick?
Yeah, so it was XFL yesterday. So going into the late game, I think I was sitting in 9th or 10th place with one player left to go, and that running back, the running back Hood for the LA team. So he's the starting running back. He was out, so I had to make a late swap off of him. So the only guy who fit at the running back position was his supposed backup, Larry Rose. So put Rose in. It was the only option that seemed logical. He was much cheaper. Didn't really matter at that point. The other to take the running back for the DC team would not have fit. So anyhow, the game is he comes in the first series. He starts as they said, and then he never sees the field. Like he's just not in the game. They're using the backup running back, Marquez Carter, and he's getting the primary, pretty much all the carries. He's not even coming in like as a third down back, nothing. Then they put him in on the goal line, luckily, and he scores. So I get the touchdown out of him, get some points. I have no idea why, but they were using him for the extra points. And in the XFL, if you're familiar, yeah. The extra points are either you can't kick them, so you have to run from the 2 for 1 point, or run a play from the 2, run a play from the 5, you get 2 points, and from the 10-yard line, you get 3 points. Well, they were going for 1 point each time, and I believe just about every single time they scored a touchdown, they used Rose. So they didn't use him in the game, but they were using him for extra points.
So this guy was like the extra point guy, and you had him in as your late swap.
So he was my late swap. So now the game was a blowout. They were a big underdog, LA, yet they blew out DC. So, I would have, with the starting running back plays, I'm in great shape. But anyway, I get the touchdown, and I get to, and he gets I believe he gets 1 extra point, maybe 2 extra points. So he's getting no yardage because he hasn't done anything but run on the goal line. So he's got like a little over 8 points, which has got me, at one point had me in first place on the,
and what was the prize? What was the
prize? So it was $100,000 for first. It's $25K to second. It probably dropped down to like $15K for third. I don't remember, but it was definitely $25 for second off of $100. So it's one of those real top-heavy games that DraftKings does. So, of course, there's a bunch of people chasing me. There's a guy who's 0.5% owned, and someone has him, and he's going off. And now he's coming up. So I'm basically fading a bunch of wide receivers and both defenses. People have defense. It was crazy. So I don't really think I'm going to win here.
How many people are in the contest?
It's a big one. So I mean, this is the $10. This is it was 30,000 people. Yeah. Okay. So we get down to I'll kind of speed the story along. The game's 39-9 blowout. And what happened was the guy in front of me had one of the defenses, so I needed one more score, which was what happened before. It was 39-9. To get the score, he dropped in points. He had the defense. So he dropped in points when the score went. So when he dropped in points, it moved me up. So I didn't actually score to move into first late. It was a late score in the game that knocked this guy's defense down that moved me up. But this guy, Rose, hadn't seen the field outside of extra points and a couple of other plays early in the game. Hadn't seen the field. So now I'm up, and they're pulling the starters, so it's looking really good. So both teams are yanking starters. They're running the ball. Both teams are running the ball to run the clock out. Like the team losing here at this point is running the ball.
And where are you at this point?
I'm in first place. So I'm in first. I'm like just a
I mean, what's that like? What's that like to be in first? You see 100,000 up there. Are you just almost like, hey, something's gonna go wrong or something, or I got this? Like, what are you feeling?
I felt, in this particular instance, I felt pretty good because, like I said, the guy Rose hadn't played, so I knew I couldn't get any negative points. And the only thing I'm fading at this point is a turnover because it would have moved one of the defenses up, which is a distinct possibility considering you've got the XFL players who are lesser quality to begin with. Now you've got the backups of the lesser quality players in the game. So I'm just hoping, hey, just hold the ball, run it, let's get out of here, 100K, and move on.
I mean, surely even a lesser quality player knows how to hold on to a football, though.
You would think, but, these kicks, a punt, a muff, anything at this point. So I'm fading turnovers. So finally they get the ball back now, LA. And they're up 39-9. There's about 2 minutes to go in the game. They could essentially just run the clock. They could have just knelt on the ball, really, at that point. They've got the backup quarterback in. And who comes on the field? Larry Rose. The guy hasn't played all game. He wasn't even the guy who was getting the garbage time yards. They had, you remember Harris played with DeJuan Harris, I believe it was? He was in the NFL.
Yeah.
He was the backup to the backup. And he was getting the bulk of the fourth carries. Yeah. He got most of the fourth-quarter carries. So I figured, well, they're just going to run him out there for one more series, and that'll be the end of it. Nope, they bring in Rose. They're in the shotgun of all things. So they're running shotgun. They've got the ball on like their own 25, 30-yard line, something like that. So they're running shotgun, and obviously they're going to run the ball. They're not going to throw. So the first play, shotgun, the quarterback drops the ball. So now I'm like, oh, God, I can't afford the turnover, I lose. So he picks it up and actually runs it for about 3 yards. So he drops now he was going to hand it off to Rose.
Okay, so it was the quarterback that picked it up. And
quarterback picked it up, yeah. So he dropped the shotgun snap, and he was going to run it. He was going to hand the ball off to Rose because then you could tell Rose was looking for the ball, didn't get it. So the hole was there. He was able to get 3 yards. Rose probably gets 3-4 yards minimum on that play.
So what now? Do you take like a gasp of air? Like, are you cursing at the television? What actually are you saying?
I'm pissed that he's in the game at this point, but I'm saying I just don't want to fumble or negative plays.
What is your lead on DraftKings?
So I've got like a point. I've got like a half. Not even. I've got a 0.3 lead or something like that. A 0.2 lead, something like that.
And the other guy behind you can't do anything.
He can't do anything. He's got nobody. Okay. So I just need to hold on to the ball and get some positive yardage. So they just get right up to the ball again after that quarterback fumbles the snap, and they run same. They're in the same formation. So I mean it's pretty obvious to everybody in the entire stadium they're just going to run the same play because they just screwed it up the first time. So they're going to run the same play.
You can hear the coach going, "Run it again!
Just run it again." So they run it again, and this time, of course, he catches it, hands it off to Rose, and he gains 1 yard.
Good.
So I said, "Okay, all right." One more play. I got one more play here. He's just got to get to the line. Just get to the line of scrimmage. At worst, lose a yard and go down, and they'll punt the ball away. There was like maybe 30 seconds at this point left, and that would be the end of the game.
So you're up 0.4 at this point. You're already basically spent the money. You're up $100,000 right here. Okay. Now, last play of the game. What happens?
Last play of the game, they line up in the same exact formation. They've got Rose right next to the quarterback. And I'm thinking, this is unbelievable. Like, you can't run the same play in a row 3 times, especially when the team doesn't even they're not caring about blocking. And so, sure enough, the guard whiffs his block. The guard in front of where Rose is getting the handoff, he barely catches the handoff. So it probably would have been better because he probably wouldn't have gotten the fumble. He barely catches the handoff and just gets leveled 5 yards deep in the backfield. So when they tally it all up, that negative yardage actually puts me down 0.1 points. I go from, they punt the ball away, the other team runs a play, game over, and that's it. Lose by 0.1. So that's a $75,000 loss on a meaningless play. When he wasn't even the guy who was taking the garbage time snaps. He was never even in the game.
That is more money lost than the XFL guard who whiffed the block makes in a season.
I said it's more than half of what the running back makes for the year. Lord. So yeah.
No, I mean it's hard not to see it as a $75,000 loss. But now a day later, are you saying at least that hey, I made $25,000 on a DraftKings?
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's you get used to it. Listen, I won 100 because Brady threw that pick six against Tennessee late for the touchdown.
That's
Obviously,
right.
it was a pick six. So if that doesn't happen, I don't win that 100. So these things kind of balance themselves out, and
Right.
it's you have to look at it in terms of like if he got a negative 5 yard running play, if he ran negative five in the first quarter, and I just got close and I just couldn't get over it, it would have hurt. But you would look at it in a totally different way, right? When it happens on the last play of the game,
It's disgusting. It
it
makes you
just
sick.
it totally kills you. So but you have to put things in perspective like that. It's just the way it is. And I've told you a million times, if you're sharp, if you're good, the bad beats are going to happen. You're going to get
Right.
more. You're going to get you're going to get bad beats. So I'm not going to say it was easy. I texted you. I had to get it off my chest.
Oh yeah,
But,
I'm your cyber therapist. Anytime you need my friend, you know
I
that.
needed it. So then, and that was it. I
Well,
ran out, got myself something to eat. By the time I came back home, I was pretty much good to go. I mean, it was a bad beat weekend. I actually had NASCAR. I'm sitting pretty with about 30 laps to go. I've got a bunch of outs. I'm in first place plus other outs, and then we get a Chase Elliott's basically running in the lead. He's got probably the best car of the day, and he goes and there his I don't know what you call it, but it's basically, so this is my knowledge of cars, right? And tire. So on the tire, basically where the air goes in, that little nozzle there.
you mean
They,
like the little hose where the
there's a little, on a tire. There's a little
yeah
nozzle.
yeah that's
They must have hit it with the jack or something when they were when they were changing the tire. Something hit it, broke it. So when he came out of his pit and he made like one turn around the track, he had a flat tire, and he went right up into the wall. It didn't take him out of the race, but it put him way back. So all he's got to do is he was going to run somewhere in the top three, which would have been fine, would have been good enough for me to win. And of course, that doesn't happen. So so that was right before the XFL debacle.
all right.
And
Well, you're due, man. You're due, and
Yeah.
we're all counting on you for that model to be fine tuned for the NCAA tournament. And
Yes.
for those of you who are watching, you to go over and check out Sportsbet Army. John is one of our lead coaches over there, along with Anthony and Ryan, and they have fine tuned their model. NCAA season is here. Use promo code a bet to get 20% off, or DM us at our Beat the Bookie Twitter or the DFS Army Twitter, and find out how to get 2 free months when you sign up for one of our affiliated sports books. John, amazing story. Sorry that those didn't go your way, but I'm glad that you did get the 25K in the XFL second place finish. We're all proud to be there. And it's just amazing how these things they flip flop all the time. And we're looking forward to a lot of wins. Just flipping over to the NCAA tournament pool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you put out your article yet? Or are you?
No, that's going to come out once the brackets come out. So once
Okay,
the brackets come out, yeah. For the I sent out when I had clients of my own before joining the Sportsbet Army, and I used to send this out. I've sent this out now for maybe the last 7 years, and so you guys who are subscribers are going to be seeing this. It basically is a way to eliminate. I think of the contenders as being the top 4 seeds. Primarily, you're going to get your champion come out of the top 4 seeds, and I've got a bunch of statistics and things to look for to eliminate a lot of those teams. So it'll help you in your bracket, picking your brackets for sure. It doesn't always work, obviously, nothing does, but it's a good way to go about it. But we also got some models. We're going to have some models. I know Ryan's got some models. I have my own models. I'm curious to see what Ryan is going to come up with, or usually does come up with for the NCAA tournament. And there's going to be a lot of talk about game theory, because what type of tournament you're in, how many people, or what type of pool you might be in, how many people in that pool. That's all going to play into how you're going to play your bracket. So we'll probably get into that on a podcast here.
Totally. So how many pools do you enter usually?
Just a handful, but I like to, depending on how large the pool is, I like to enter multiple as long as it's allowed, multiple ones per pool. If it's a small pool, I'll just enter, small amount of people, I should say. I'll enter one.
Yeah, the one that I don't say I do, but the one I'm affiliated with, the one that my friends do, it's about 180 people, and it's about $20 a sheet. So I'll send you the link if you're interested in that one too.
Sure.
I don't think it's anyone too sharp in that one, so it is there for the taking. I, of course, have never come close to winning. That's because I go with the philosophy that if you don't come in first or second, you might as well come in last. And I probably go a little overboard sometimes with picking the upsets to my own fault, because I feel like if you get an eighth seed that wins it all and you have it right, you win it. If you pick a 1 or 2 seed, or even sometimes a 3 seed, you got to get almost everything right. So,
Well, we're going to get into that. We're going to do a
Yeah.
whole podcast on that before the tournament starts, and
sounds good.
I'll help everyone out hopefully with their picks.
Absolutely. All right. For John Alesia, a.k.a. Statsational, I am at Alan Seslowski. Another episode of Sports Bet Army's Beat the Bookie podcast is in the books, and we'll see you soon, everybody. Hit us up on all our social media, on Twitter, in Slack if you're already a member, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.